The Child Who Lived in the Blue, Chapter 1. The discovery of the air you can live in. It was an ordinary Tuesday when the boy discovered he could live in the blue. It wasn't a scientific discovery, nor a magic trick. It was something simpler and deeper. Like remembering something you had always known, but it slept inside you. His name was Luca, but in the spare moments between homework and dinner, he called himself only Me. Me was a round word, a personal planet, a space probe launched from his chest. That day, as he looked through the living room window, he saw a patch of sky so intense between the clouds that it felt like an invitation written in light. Yes, he whispered, and the word never finished. It hung there in the living room air, an invisible thread connecting his mouth to the sky outside. His mother in the kitchen thought he was humming, but it wasn't a song, it was a scent. It was the oldest yes in the world, the one you say before you're even born. Luca closed his eyes. When he opened them, he was no longer on the couch. He was in the blue. It wasn't flying. Flying has a beginning and an end, a starting point and a destination. This was living. The blue wasn't a place you passed through, it was a place you stayed. Blue with texture, not like gelatin, but like thought. Or blue you could hold with your eyelids closed, and he lived. In those first instants, were they instants? Time there had thickness, not duration. Luca learned that blue has shades. There is the blue that is almost a promise, the blue that is a memory of the sea, the blue that laughs when a white cloud passes. There is the deep blue, high above, like the attic of the sky. And there is the low blue, the one that kisses rooftops, the domestic blue, the one that knows the secrets of chimneys. He lived in all of them. Chapter 2. The search for the ownerless place. An ownerless place. That was the next revelation. Luca realized that everything in the world had someone claiming, "This is mine." The park had the city's sign. The streets belonged to the town, the sky. Well, the sky seemed to belong to everyone, but airplanes drew routes owned by companies, and satellites belonged to nations. But there was one exception. Between the top floor of the domestic blue and the first floor of the deep blue, there was a layer of air no one claimed. It was the ownerless place. It wasn't on maps, didn't appear on deeds, and wasn't mentioned in any document. It was a territory made entirely of freedom. Luca settled there. He built a house with no walls, only corners of wind. Furnished it with pieces of light, an afternoon sunbeam armchair, a morning moonlight table, a bed made of cotton candy from the high clouds. There were no doors, because nothing needed locking. No windows, because the entire house was view. In the ownerless place, rules were invented every instant and undone the next. The main law was, here you can be silent. You can be laughter. You can be small or enormous. You can forget your name and remember only your being. Migrating birds passed through and left feathers as souvenirs. Winds from other lands told stories with different accents. Sometimes a lost balloon from a children's party drifted there. Luca returned it to the sky with a happy thought tied to its string. Chapter 3. The compass rose that doesn't point directions at school. Luca had learned about the compass rose, that star full of letters pointing north, south, east, west. But the compass rose he wanted had no letters. It had sense. The true compass rose didn't point to places. It pointed to states of being. Its north smelled of fresh snow and old book pages. Its south smelled of rain-soaked earth and ripe fruit. The east smelled of low tide and fresh paint. The west smelled of distant bonfires and dusk-blooming flowers. Luca found it on a day when the wind stopped. Yes, the wind stopped completely. Something rare in the ownerless place. And in the center of the stillness floated a rose, not made of petals, but of intertwined breezes. Each petal was an air current from a different part of the world. This rose didn't say go there. It said feel this. When Luca approached the northern petal, he felt the solemn calm of mountains. From the southern petal, the warm joy of beaches. But there were more points between points. The northeast, smelling of freshly brewed coffee on a winter morning. The southwest carrying jasmine at night. The compass rose wasn't for guiding you somewhere, but for guiding you within. It showed that wherever you were, a whole world of sensations was available. You just had to pay attention to the invisible directions. Chapter 4. The transformation into a silver bird. There was a secret in the ownerless place. On Thursdays, the sky allowed transformations. They weren't magical in the usual sense. They were more real than magic. They were desires so pure, the air accepted them as reality. One of those days, Luca wished to become a bird. Not just any bird, a silver bird. Silver wasn't a metal, it was a state of lightness. A silver bird had no feathers. It had reflections. Its body was made of the substance between a mirror and the image it reflects. It didn't fly by flapping wings, but by changing its mind about where to be. Luca became a silver bird. His first discovery, the air had corridors. Its fast corridors, where the wind rushed like a messenger. Slow corridors, where the air almost slept. Spiral corridors rising in gentle swirls. Straight corridors that went directly toward the horizon. Flying as a silver bird wasn't effort, it was surrender. It was letting yourself be carried by the sky's pathways. Sometimes he followed the swallow corridor, sometimes the trade winds. When he passed near cumulus clouds, they tried to caress him with cotton hands. The silver of his body reflected everything. The blue below, the sun above, the clouds beside him. He was a flying mirror. And something curious happened. When he reflected the sky back to the sky, he created an infinite inside the infinite. When he reflected the earth, he gave the sky memories of the ground. He didn't fly with purpose, he simply flew. And in that simply, he felt a completeness that held all the purposes of the world. Chapter 5. The Road of Here. One day, or a moment outside the days, Luca looked down and saw his road. It wasn't on the ground, it was in the air. A trail made of connected moments like beads on an invisible necklace. Here where I am, that is my road. Wherever I go, every place he was, became a point on the road. Every instant, a section of the path. The road stretched neither forward nor behind. It existed entirely in the now. Luca realized his whole life had always been this road, even before discovering he could live in the blue. Going to school, playing in the yard, listening to stories before bed, all were pieces of that aerial path. The road of here had a magical trait. No matter where you went, you were always on it. If Luca flew east, the road went east. If he stayed still, the road paused too. It was faithful to the present. Chapter 6. The horizon line as landing. Everything tires, even lightness. Luca felt his silver bird body growing sweetly tired. It wasn't Earth's heavy fatigue. It was the sky's luminous fatigue. He understood what the horizon line truly was. It wasn't the end of the world. It was the world's lap. It's a place where the sky, tired of being infinite, rests on the earth. The place where the day goes to sleep. The horizon wasn't thin. It had thickness, made of the soft transition between blue and not blue. It shaped itself to whoever landed. As Luca rested there, the horizon sang, not with words, but with colors. The gold of the sunset hummed its lullaby, and Luca felt the horizon wasn't a geographic place, it was a state of being. Chapter 7. The na, na, na. Some things cannot be said. Some feelings are too heavy or too light for syllables. For those things, there are the na, na. They came from everywhere, the deep blue, distant clouds, his own silver chest. Each na was a story without words. Luca realized his whole journey was a great na na na. Not an ending, but a continuation. An invitation to the next mystery. Chapter 8. The return that isn't a return. Luca opened his eyes. He was back on the couch. When his mother asked what he had been doing, he simply answered, "I went to live in the blue." How is it living in the blue? It's beyond words, and it was. That night, as he lay in bed, the stars looked like dots of silver. Luca smiled. Part of him was still a silver bird. Part of him still lived in the blue. Part of him still rested on the horizon. And part of him still sang the endless na na na. Epilogue. The secret that isn't a secret. Years later, Luca grew up and became a poet. His words carried skies, winds, horizons. People said his poems felt like dreams turned into language. One day a boy asked him, "Your poem about the silver bird? Is it true?" "It's more than true," Luca said. "It's real. Want to know the secret?" The boy nodded. Luca pointed to the sky. Simple. Anyone can live in the blue. You just have to look up and say yes. with your whole being. And somewhere in the ownerless place, a new resident arrived. Thank you for reading this far. Subscribe to the channel and receive more videos like this.